I think the world is so transient now. I mentioned it earlier, but we're having the biggest net migration of wealth that the history has ever seen. So people come into the UAE, people go into Singapore, leaving places like the US, Europe, the UK. You're very limited if you're just focusing on the UK market. You're going to lose so many clients that leave, and you're going to have your hands tied because you've not got the international expertise or qualifications or regulations. So the idea behind Hoxton and what we do is we have hopefully built a borderless financial services company, and I say that to my clients that have worked in the UK and have left, and they may go to Asia or go to Australia or go to the US, is that you can deal with one person and you don't have to start that painful process again of trying to find a trusted advisor and go through meeting lots of different people and doing your research and due diligence. If you've been working from one person that you started with you in the UK, and then they went with you into Australia, and then you came to Dubai, and then lots of people work in different locations. So you are going to lose a lot of clients if you focus on just one market. I think especially in the UK, because they're losing, I think it's 17% of their millionaires over the next few years because of the current political situation. So you are, no matter how good the relationship is, you can't advise them if they're over here or if they're in Australia or if they've gone to Singapore. So,
and are you focusing purely on UK clients, those that have left the UK, moved around, or do you deal with like US domestic as well that are moving from the US? You've got qualifications in multiple jurisdictions. I mean, that's fantastic within its own right. Doing those qualifications aren't easy.
Yeah.
So having them in place is evidence that you care a lot about the client journey, etc. So, but does it actually open you up to domestic clients moving around? So what's the reality of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Australia, for example, I've got quite a lot of Australian clients that did have UK pensions, sort of migrating them over to the Australian market, which is really tax efficient. In the US, there's US citizen clients that had UK pensions. And then I'd say the main area of advice that I concentrate on now is Brits abroad. So British people anywhere, especially in this region, the tax planning is really, really good here. And then US citizens overseas, because there's so few people that can help them because of the lack of regulation and understanding, and just being scared of the IRS and not upsetting their accountants and their reporting. So those are the two main focuses at the moment.
Do you deal with Brits domestic? Do you deal with Brits in the UK as well as abroad?
Yeah. Yeah, look after the UK market on the FCA register. I've got UK qualifications and advice as well. So, and that was where my advice started in the UK. So it's sort of full circle now that it's giving UK advice as well still.
What percentage of your clients would you say are still in the UK?
A small amount, maybe 5% of my clients are in the UK.
So you really are focusing on that international market, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting because we have some advisors. I was speaking to Mo, and Mo's got probably 65% of his clients are UK based.
Yeah.
But he himself bases himself out here in Dubai, but he's focusing on mainly kind of tax planning for UK clients. He sees that as a big area and a big niche for him and his expertise of what he's building, but positions himself out here in Dubai. Now, anybody listening to this, and maybe a potential client perhaps, someone's researched your name, they're going to find this podcast. It's important, I think, that we ensure that anybody that's looking to work with us for their financial planning, work with you, understands that we are heavily regulated. We are sort of regulated in multiple jurisdictions across the world. Just give them a bit of confidence, like just the very fact that you're out here in the UAE and based here. How can we give them confidence that they can still they can trust an advisor that's sitting out here in the UAE, even if, say, for example, they're in the UK?
Yeah, it's a good question because we come up against that a lot. And what I would always say is if you're in the UK and you're working with an advisor in London, or unless they're around the corner from you, you're not going to meet them face to face every quarter. These days, people will do everything over Zoom and Teams, and a lot of the conversations will be digital, but every bit of advice goes through the local regulator. So if we're looking after a 401k or an IRA, it goes through the US regulator. If we're looking after a UK SIP or an ISA, it goes through the UK regulator. It's exactly the same as if I was based there, and I do also travel and I'll see my clients face to face as well. So that's not it's not like we're never going to meet, and they're always invited to come to London or New York or Miami or Dubai if they're in those countries, if they want to see the office. But it's not like we're regulating or giving regulated advice to clients from our Dubai office through our Dubai license, because obviously that would be extremely worrying, and I definitely wouldn't sign off on that paperwork. So
yeah, exactly.